Thank you all for joining this walkthrough through the Azure environment. In this short update, you will see all the Azure services deployed under the small business server template and what the ins and outs are of each service. I would like to give the floor to Koen Rotiers, who is the technical specialist for Azure in Belgium, and he will drive this walkthrough.
So, when deploying the SMB solution to an Azure subscription, so when deploying the Azure part of the SMB solution, a separate resource group will be deployed to your customer's Azure tenant, and it will normally always have this prefix SMB underscore, so RG, that's resource group, and then underscore the name of the customer or the name you gave or the customer gave during deployment. So if we go down into the resource group itself, you can see there's a lot of services inside. I chose the small one, so this is a small deployment. This means it's the version for up to 10 users. You also have the medium one, which is a similar deployment but has a more powerful machine, and then the large one, which has 3 virtual machines where the RDS role is split out over the different virtual machines. Right. Let's start on the virtual machine itself. Maybe that's easiest. So as you can see, it's a standard GS1 V2, so 1 core, 3.5 gigs of memory that gets deployed. Of course, if the customer or the application that the customer is using needs more performance, you can always do an upgrade later on if you see that it isn't working as it should be. For now, my deployment has been done with Windows Server 2012, but there's the ability to select 2012 or 2016. But we still need to check with the Stream 1 team on what the choice in 1 will be. Of course, all of the properties you can select here as well. If you do the connect, you connect through RDP directly into your virtual machine. So we have one public IP for the virtual machine to be able to access RDS through the RDS website, so for running certain applications. So let me check. So at the end of a deployment, you will get a link. You follow that link, get to the RDS website. So your RDS website is visible through the public IP of your machine. Of course, in NIC, right, you won't have any communication, which is located in the virtual network. So as you can see, the virtual network address space is 10.3.0.0/16. This is default. For now, there normally won't be the possibility to change this parameter. So always when you do a deployment or when it does the deployment of the SMB solution, 10.3.0.0/16 address space will be used. So this means it's best to, if they use the VPN connection, to connect their internal network to Azure to this setup, that they will need to check if there's no overlap between networks, the virtual networks in Azure and the private networks on premises. Hopefully, or normally in the future, we will be able to change this parameter we enter when we deploy the solution to Azure. So this will be a possibility to change it. Go down to this. So there's a subnet for management services and there's a gateway subnet. So if your customer also deploys the VPN gateway, there's a need for a gateway subnet, so that's already provisioned. So if you want to deploy it later on, the gateway, VPN gateway, you won't. There's no need to configure an access subnet, so that's all there. Internal management, all of the virtual machines, but yeah, there's only one virtual machine, but to add the different ones as well. The virtual network. So if you have small, medium, large, the setup is almost identical. So in the medium and the large, you also have these two subnets available. So they standardized the deployment and configuration as much as possible. Have some alignment. So security groups, for security is needed. As you can see, so if you have this network security group, you can see inbound only RDP, HTTPS, PowerShell, machine through PowerShell, and the regular HTTPS is allowed. All other traffic is blocked. Other ports, if your customer needs to have a particular port open for application to run, then add that particular port in here to be able to connect to it. So you have the storage account. What they do with the storage account, they provide one storage account for each single VM. In the small and medium setup, this will be, if there's only one VM, so there's only one storage account. But if in the large one you have 3 VMs, so we will have 3 different storage accounts. It is just to keep it clean and separate all VMs from each other. So there won't be any misconfiguration setup. Then we have all of these OMS features. Agent health, agent exchange tracking, log analytics. This is all part of the OMS suite. Operations management. So there's a free tier of OMS available. That's the thing that they deploy. Through the OMS portal. So there's a free tier of OMS available, which is used in all of the 3 deployments. Normally this will be more than enough, but if a customer needs extra, the extra features or extra space, then you can always upgrade to the next plans. Of course, this will be included in the CSP subscription. Yeah, of course, as this is a demo environment, you won't see a lot in here. But normally, when people start to use it actively, then you'll see a lot more. So the operations management suite is a bit like center on premises. So it's you can manage both the whole on-premises environment as the whole cloud environment. So if the customer also has some on-premises servers left he wants to manage in one tool together with the SMB solution, he can also add the OMS. This is what you'll get when it's actively or already deployed. You'll get an email with your login, a password that's automatically generated. That's the admin account. Okay. Too long. But anyhow, you know, probably so. You'll sign in and then you'll get a list with all of the applications which are available to use. Go back to the Azure portal. Everything else. This is the SC desired state config. So the machines, the virtual machine is configured using desired state config. So they deploy a standard Windows Server 2012, in this case R2, and with the desired state being pushed to the virtual machine, and that configuration checks if virtual machine as it exists has all of the configuration needed to work. If not, it will perform all of the changes that are needed to make sure it's up to the desired state of the machine. So it will install the RDS role, and it will install Active Directory, it will install DNS. So this makes sure that your deployment has all of the different rules installed. Then an extension will be that interesting, the antivirus extension. Then also a very interesting one here. There's an automation part in the SMB solution. So which means they've built an automation script that turns off your machines 9 in the evening and turns them back on 9. Of course, this is changeable, but this implies that the company only has to pay for the storage a machine takes during the night. Because I think a lot of companies solution won't have the need for it to be running 24/7. Hours are between daytime, So with the automation, you can shut them down. So you will bring down the pricing point of Azure a whole lot. So they have built a runbook, business hours. So you can see the schedule here. For the moment, it's off. Says okay, I want to turn my machine off each day. I'm going to turn it on at 9 a.m. but it's enabled. Turn it off at 9 p.m. But of course, you can change these two. So if the end customer company starts work at 8, then I would advise to turn your VM on by 7 in the morning. If your company works until 9 or 10, then set it down by 11 in the evening. So you need to check what's the working schedules, or the reseller needs to check what's the working schedules for the end customer. So this is the actual runbook. So you need an automation account. So that's actually doing the billing, doing the amount of runs. Normally with this setup, you won't need to pay for the automation part. But of course, if you want to add some automation, some other automation, could be that you run out of the amount of runs available in the free tier of the automation. So it could be that you would need to pay the automation part. Of course, everything like it's configured here. So we have the VM here. Just a Windows machine with directory installed, with DNS installed, with RDS installed. That doesn't mean it's fully configured. So you will still need to populate your Active Directory, set up your DNS, set up your RDS role, or configure your RDS role, install specific software needed by the end customer. You also need the RDS licensing, so the RDS calls are not included in Azure, so separately or through SPLA or through any other program. But we have a guide that's going to be configured to tag data format, so we're going to try to add that to stream 1 as well, so when he does the deployment, that he has the end configuration guide, so post deployment tasks available. So he has a step-by-step guide on going further and doing the final configuration, having a true working solution. It's already a working solution, but not in the state that it's workable. So one of those steps guide. For now, it's still the Microsoft version guide. Become something like this. We're going to drop this part because it's about using the tool, but they will be using stream 1, so this is not needed. So we'll add some deployment results. So for the Office 365 part, won't be yet incorporated in higher setup programmatically. But if they do the Office 365 part, they will have all of the user provisions, the groups provisions, OneDrive provisions. They will have a quick overview on then we have Azure Small. They will have the overview, and then here you have the post-provisioning task. So there's a post-provisioning which guides you or which guides the customer through the entire process in finalizing the setup. So we have the automation parts, schedule, like I already said, to check if it meets business requirements. Change the schedules. You can add a schedule. Say, okay, in the week times, PM is only needs to be down at night, but if you say the company doesn't work in the weekend, for instance, you can turn it off on Friday evening at 8 and then turn it back on Monday morning at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning. That's also a possibility that if there's no access needed in the weekend, then this will save you costs as well. So this is the automation part. All explained. And the virtual machine, like it said, is standardly a DS1 v2 with the extensions for the monitoring and protection, so antivirus, logging, included in the OMS suite. So the NIC, like, it's not connected to the network security group, so it just has the public IP where you can reach it. But if you want some kind of other setups, the NIC is there, the network security group is there, the VNet is there, so always configure it further, or the customer can configure it further, like for his own license. So, like I said, you will get a sysadmin account and a password sent to the customer by email, and then they can log in to the virtual machine to finalize the configuration. So you will see the setup here. There's all of those screenshots on what to do. But of course, the whole setup of the SMB solution is to integrate Office 365 and Azure. So you will need to configure the AD Connect part that your users that are already provisioned in Office 365 will be synchronized with Active Directory. So all of your users that have been provisioned will be with the AD Connect tool, will be synchronized to Active Directory, so you'll have them available over there, and then they can use all of their RDS specific applications through that same user account they have in Office 365. Of course, you can sort of do it the other way around. If the end customer company already has an Active Directory now and they want to utilize the same things or the same users like they have now, then you can set up AD Connect first, do the upload to Azure Active Directory to your tenant of your users, and then you can decommission, or the end customer can decommission its Active Directories on premises, then install AD Connect on the VM on Azure, push all of the users to synchronize from the old. That's also a possibility. As it's more focused on net new customers, I don't think they will have Active Directory. So go ahead by synchronizing the users from 5 to Active Directory. For Office 365. We have password synchronization. So the password will be synchronized between Active Directory and Office 365, so they can use single sign-on for both their email and their RDS apps. Well, like I already said, you will have the applications available, which of course need to be configured in the RDS role. Some alternate configurations are available. Like here, if you want Office in your RDS role, so I think a lot of customers will be doing that. They need Office 365 Pro Plus, otherwise it won't work. So they can't utilize any of the business queues to deploy Office in their virtual machine. Here again, some more explanation of the log analytics. This is the optional, more explanation on the optional part of the deployment. So you have a VPN gateway that is optional. Like I already said, if you need connectivity, private connectivity from on-premises to Azure, there's the possibility to have VPN gateway provisions. Of course, then the reseller also needs to configure a VPN gateway on-premises to connect your private network to Azure. Azure Backup, I would recommend this. It's optional, but if Azure is your only environment, then I would certainly recommend this, that you back up your Azure VM. So if anything goes wrong inside your VM, you'll always have a backup available. Yeah, to go back to. And that's about it. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Koen. Frank, do you have any questions or other remarks about the presentation?
No, I think it's great. Just two things. Koen, could you reset the password so we can use the environment and show just to connect you to RDS or so on?
I will do this afternoon.
Very great. And second thing, to start the environment manually, is it just the virtual machine or are there other components who have to be started?
No, only virtual machine.
Okay, great.
So I would advise, before your demos, turn it on, and when your demo's done, turn it back off so we don't have additional costs for no reason.
Great. So I'll send you the schedule we already have. And yes, that's it. Very great. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
This webcast will be followed by a Tech Data help guide, and we will make sure it will be available for all the countries for Tech Data.
Great.